Good evening, Free Enterprise, and welcome to another night of Highway to the Threemus Zone. I'm Naidu, and with me tonight is Zoe Vermillion. How you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
I'm doing really great, actually. It's a couple days off, getting to watch all this, and here we are on the Magma route with Tybalt and PeasantsOMFG, one coming out of the Freak group, one coming out of the Shiva group, 2-1 records here. And we're getting a little bit here. Looks like we've got Tybalt going with a little bit of a Borderlands naming convention. I haven't seen Peasants just yet here.
I love Edward as Claptrap. That's absolutely fitting.
That is absolutely so much fitting there. Real quick, it does look like we have a Palom start, and our objectives are a little spicy, a little all over the place here. We've got our normal forge here, the vanilla Masamune altar, so I'm really hyped to see something incredibly rude there. Thank you, Invenerable. And then a Baron key, and hey, possible required music. You love to see it.
Yep, I know chat is definitely, I already see some harps coming out. Wanting to see one of the 3 objectives that gets completed being complete Cave Magnus. That would make everyone's day. But as you mentioned, something rude at Masamune altar would be pretty great. And then let's just hide the Baron key somewhere so we don't get that free objective and have to forge as well.
I mean, we could just hide it at the Masamune altar. That'd work, right?
But then that's a 2-for-1.
Yeah, true. I mean, in all my practice seats this morning here, there was one with the Vax Star Darkness Crystal, but everything else has been incredibly rude in placing that Darkness Crystal someplace we just haven't wanted to find it.
Cough, cough. Evil Walt Leviathan. Cough, cough.
More like Wyvern and Odin.
That will also do it. Asking a question from chat, is this a Magma or Hook route race? This is a Magma route race. Both of these racers were 2-1, and looks like we are off.
We are off. We have our Quake Kid coming to meet our everybody's favorite Spoony Bard, a blue robe, and a package to start here. Somehow I don't think that we're going to get many checks on that package, but I could be wrong here.
Vanilla starting off early. If you don't find a character you want in the myriad of free character checks, maybe you peek it, see if it's like an edge, or if you have a Cecil, maybe a second Cecil. But yeah, unless we end up on a like wild goose chase for Demist, I don't imagine us following that package through unless it's a good character.
Yeah, I would say unless we find something, or like you said, in case we like have oops all eddies, we might see it as well, but Tybalt is gonna go straight to Baron here, get our opening checks out of the way here. Gonna meet Kane and an immediate sighting of everybody's favorite Mist Dragon right there in the Baron Inn.
Well, never mind about that wild goose chase. That's wonderful to see. You love being able to see Demist out in the open. So now you know I don't need to check Mist Cave. I don't need to check Waterfall Cave. I don't need to worry about Demist in Sealed Cave. You can just focus on your objectives, knowing that, hey, there's a double up on key items in Baron Inn.
Yeah, absolutely. It did look like the T-Spar 60 flag, which does say on average about 4 out of every 10 chests we looted did hit the Baron loot cycle pretty hard. I saw a lot of miss there. Did see a Gungnir to go with that Kane in Mist Village already.
I can't complain about that. I might prioritize trying to get through that Baron Inn a bit sooner. Once you have the strength to get through that second fight. It's very slow, but it's very punchy, being the vanilla karate spot. So, and the package check being a Rosa. Yeah, I'd expect it to reset there.
Yeah, about the only thing I probably wouldn't reset out of that package check right now would probably be an Edge. I mean, it's good to know that Rose is there just in case we end up a little bit White Mage starved and really want that. But yeah, getting right out of there, checking the city. We do see an Edward in the Watery Pass.
Yep, not interested in picking that up. Already have one Spoony Bard. I would also consider taking a Tella from that package spot just for the major utility, but not until I checked all these early spots. And we find one other twin and a Rosa, so don't need that Rosa from package anymore.
No, not at all. Honestly, if I find an edge here in these early checks here, anywhere free, I like the very early Baron play, especially with that Kane standing there. Something you're really going to kind of want here with this, admittedly, very mage-heavy start we've got going on here. Two Roses, 2 Quake Kids, 2 Edwards, and a Kane, so something with a little more frontline power would be a little bit better there.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if we see one of these runners maybe peek over to check the Ordeals character before they're planning on taking on Ordeals, just depending on what character is here in Dancing and maybe who's on top of Hobbs. Because all these mages are great, you know, they do wonders in endgame, even without the best gear, but you need to be able to kill stuff in order to get key items, so.
Now, Paolo's pretty good at that after about one fight and the tier 2 spells start rolling in. We did find a Protect Ring also in the waterway as well.
Looks like Tybalt grabbed that Edward, presumably just to get access to some of these extra chests. I can't foresee him hanging on to that Edward for too terribly long, but we see a Porum. So we have, you know, 1.5 sets of twins.
Which is really awkward when you think about 1.5 sets of twins there, but just even more white magic. Probably gonna take this over to Hobbs if I had to guess here. Now, mind you, with that amount of twins there, any set of twins can use the Twin Magic command, which, as Peasants is going into Antline, does find the Zeus Rage as well, but Twin Magic will clean up a lot of the early spots fairly easily here.
Yeah, having a set of twins, as long as you at least have one Hallam to make, and hopefully that's the power that gets drawn, can clear out stuff like Antline pretty easily, get you to those tier 2 spells to, you know, start making some work on the overworld, even without something like an Edge or a Sid that can do to show some physical damage. Oh, and a Charm Rod, that'll help.
Oh yeah, good amount of decent caster gear dropping, so that's at least nice here. So we got a little bit of equipping going on here. Gonna back row that Palom almost immediately, just in case here. While Tybalt is going to give us our Hobbs check here. And that's exactly what I'd want to see right there. Got a Kane right there. And a very beatable Leviathan while Asura shows up at Antlion here. Both fights should end fairly easily here for each player.
Yeah, we got the King and Queen of Monsters respectively, so that's exciting. And Asura goes down, no problems. Over on Peasant's side, so we're going to get our first key item check.
Oh my!
Oh dear. Okay.
As key items go, that's pretty spicy this early here. We have not found any Tellas to really take advantage of that, but at this point, you think our runners might want to be hedge their bets towards Bound Ordeals to get that expanded spell list if Tella does turn up.
Yeah, there could still be a Tella, like a vanilla Tella on Ordeals, which would set you up nicely if you wanted to do a quick D-Machine grind before you followed with anything else. Otherwise, it's just nice to have that Dark Crystal in the pocket. You know that you have your route to Z, you have your route to that second objective, and Peasant's wasting no time. Gonna go raise that big whale.
I mean, you're gonna raise that whale anyways, given we have that objective up there. So I know in some like earlier races where the objective system wasn't there, it's like people are like, do I spend too much time raising the whale? It's like, no, you're gonna use it here. Let's just get it out of the way. And I mean, hey, it's a free in that rests on the world map as well, so even better.
Yeah, a little bit extra time if you have to fly to it, but if you're hurting and you don't want to go spend money on an inn, yeah, as well. Also, I typically like to take that that free heal before I travel to or from the moon, depending on how much I'm hurting.
Alright, so Peasants is going to find both casters here at Mysidia, as Tybalt is going to finish up the Lion Cave here very soon. One thing, I wonder how long it's going to take for either of them to... I know Fading Fabul has become a rather strong play here as of late. I guess the question is, do you take that second cane if Tella doesn't show up on Ordeals?
I think you do. I think if you're Tybalt, you ditch your Edward. Peasants, you ditch your Forum, just to give yourself some, 2 canes, 2 palums, and a Rosa. That's a pretty decent party if you can find enough gear for both canes. You already have the 1 Gungnir spear. Something like a defense sword or a white spear would round up that party pretty nicely.
Yeah, I think I did see Tybalt throwing on an ogre axe, it looks like, that was found as well. So that'll do it for a while.
And Peasants has no interest in Fading Fabul as Tybalt picks up the Darkness Crystal. We will see who's waiting here attacking Fabul.
And that's a Moon Sparkle. Oh, that's just Pale Dim. That's not too bad here. Definitely one of the Moon Bosses. If I saw one Moon Boss, it's definitely one of the ones I'd want to see here. As opposed to things like Ogopogo and bosses like that. So, should get through this fairly easily.
Yeah, as long as you got enough MP to keep up these twin casts, you'll be just fine.
May have just happened there. It looked like one of those twin spells may have failed, and that's no good with 2 twins down now, unfortunately.
Yeah, that's a risky run when you rely on twin. They only have so much MP early levels, and twin takes, what, 20 from each?
I think it depends on which one comes out. I think Flare might be 15 apiece. I think Comet might be a little bit more. I do think it depends on what the twins draw there.
And Tybalt doing some shopping in Silvera, now heading over to Ordeals. We're going to see this character check, and I wonder if he's going to try and take down Ordeals while he's here, or if he's just going to check the character and leave.
Yeah, the one bad thing about Pale Dim here is I did see a couple attack items in the inventory. Unfortunately, Pale Dim does absorb all elemental-based magic. Fire, Ice, and Lead will heal Pale Dim.
Yeah, looks like... Oh, go ahead.
Yep. Yeah, Tybalt is climbing, is gonna find another Edward. Oh my.
Alright, plenty of bards, plenty of mages, and a couple of traders. This is a seed that shouldn't be too bad, especially once you can get that second cane out of the Baron Inn. At this point, I believe Tybalt has at least Ice 2 on his Palums, so Ordeals here is doable, just depending on who we roll for the bosses. And this one looks to be fairly free, either Baron Guards or Officer Soldier.
Yeah, did see the Ogre Axes for sale in Fabul. That might have been... Well, I didn't see actually go there. Did see a Dancing Dagger on that Edward as well.
I believe that Rosa has a Elven Bow on too, so they're getting the extra bonus damage because the Baron Guards are mage type enemies.
Yeah, and then in the first slot here at Mount Ordeals, there really isn't much in the way of attack power, physical attack power at least to speak of.
Yeah, that Palom in the front row taking 14, 15 damage from physical swings. Hardly a threat.
Still a spicy 1200 single target flare there. That does get a little kind of really good on single targets. The flare does split damage if it has more than one target, but single target does pretty well for itself. Meanwhile, Peasants is through. Pale Dim this time is going to show us the Fabul check here.
Was it leg? Let me show you how.
That looked, yep, that was a Lupa key. Thank you very much, Tracker there. Out of Fabul, and as the best leg in show business right there. Oh my, 3,400 on that glare.
Glare hits like no joke here. But if you can time your Ice 2 while the cloak is open, this spot should go down pretty quickly. Unfortunately, it's about to heal Ruby.
He does seem to get a little bit more in terms of the magic defense there while the cloak is closed. Somebody could probably elucidate on that one for us. But yeah, it just, you get one Ice 2 on that. This 3,000 hit point slot and those Dancing Daggers from Eddie and that Flare have about a third of Rubicon down so far. And there he goes. Yeah, that first Ice 2 or Ice 3 or whatever you try to throw on him is a little hard to sometimes get down correctly there. So in we come to the Paladin room here, and we get a Magma key.
Rewarded.
At
And a free boss.
Yeah, at the cost of one free boss, yes.
This is not the kind of free that you want to see in the Paladin room. Much rather see this boss somewhere later, like maybe that Masamune altar, but you know what? You can't do anything about it, it's already here.
Yeah, I mean, everything they've run into has been entirely tame right now, which is bodes well for people wanting pain in the later parts of the seed here.
Yeah, and with that Magma Crystal and Magma Key and Darkness Crystal in hand, we have, you know, all three sections of this world open to us. So it's going to be very interesting to see how the routing goes from these two runners, things could start to diverge very quickly.
Yeah, wide open spaces. Technically, I mean, if we want to get real technical, that vanilla Masamune altar is open, but with King Queen Evelyn diving off the board inside the room there's really not much in the way that these low-level parties can deal with right now, though underground is open, so gated shops are open, which means some of the good stuff in terms of sirens, Bacchus, hourglasses, and coffins may be on the table in shops down below here.
Yeah, there's a lot of that Masamune altar that could be very rude at this point. There's a handful of bosses that could still be fairly free. You know, if you find something like a Bahamut there, and you want to Starveil your way through it, definitely doable. But with it being so deep down, some people may be tempted to, you know, face check an early moon objective just to see what you're in for. But that walk is quite long, especially when you don't have a source of exit. You would have to probably reset back to the earth.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking there. Now, I wouldn't mind probably jumping up to the moon here, maybe make a check at the altar just to see who the character is, maybe a Hummingway shop. Now, if I did have a source of exit, I might be tempted to check maybe like the Cave Bahamut or the Mirasame locations. Those might be worth the dive, but it's really hard saying, hey, let's go check that Masamune altar to see what we're up against right there this early.
And Peasant's getting his Magma Key, now has his underground access, will take care of Edge's parents here in short order, and looks like Tybalt is going to take a trip to the moon, likely to check that character slot and maybe that moon shop, so we'll see if he does anything else while he's up here.
I mean, post-store deals, they are likely praying for a Tella here.
Yeah, if you find a Tella here, that's your grind online, because as of yet, you know, we haven't seen an Edge. We see Silk Webs there. You want a couple of those potentially, but no Edge to potentially steal Sirens. If you don't find Sirens in a shop, like, you want a Tella. You need some way to gain some experience.
Absolutely there, and Sirens are not guaranteed, and like you said, you know, usually the easier guaranteed way is to start stealing them here. I mean, I get it, Flanders. I am not really on Team Tella, but even I have to recognize the fact that sometimes you just really need to make that D-Machine grind.
Oh, hey, look!
Oh!
You called it.
Mooncheck getting paid there. All we need to do is find some ethers, and our runners are in business for D-Machines, but Tybalt actually bins the Tella, says no thank you.
That's interesting. I have to wonder what his plan is here. You haven't checked the underground to see if you can find Sirens. You don't have an Edge in sight. You have to wonder, what are you planning to do for your grind? If you're not like confident in doing D-Machines, maybe you just reset out of that and keep them in your back pocket there in the moon spot. So I'm interested, and I'm very much interested now in Tybalt's plan.
Absolutely. And like I said, I'm not really great on Team Tella, but sometimes that bullet just has to be bitten there, and so Tybalt is pretty much going all in on, I hope there's Sirens somewhere here. As both of them are in Agart, so we should start seeing underground checks come up very soon.
Tybalt doing a bit of shopping percent before dropping his Magma Key. Peasant's deciding to drop the Magma Key and then fly over to Baron, looking to get this cane maybe, and before he goes underground.
Yeah, or we may have remembered that the Mist Dragon is here, so this is a 2-for-1 check here, so why not?
Judging by the state of that chest, I don't think Peasant had actually checked Baron yet, so this is a nice surprise.
Yeah, Tybalt was the only one that actually did go into Baron. Peasants had not seen that Demus there, so... in chat, Shmo says, betting on Sirens and Hourglass on Hummingway. We did see the Hummingway shop already. That is Silkweb's Elixirs, and it looked like Ether Ones, I believe. A nice shop to be sure, but, that, on the other hand, is fairly rude here. We've got the Note Noodle himself as the second fight in the Baron Inn.
This is rough with your current party. You don't want to hit him with magic. Like, as I mentioned earlier, this spot is very slow but very punchy, so you're going to get a lot of turns in, but I don't know realistically how much damage you're going to be able to do here. And hopefully you get to take out this... Oh, Twin bypasses the counter. Never mind.
Oh, that's good. I mean, you still have to come up with 4,000 damage here. Meanwhile, as we see Tiara's Cursed Rings and our Job Dwarf check, there is a Lyricist. But yeah, as we see Ogopogo just wind up on Rosa there, unfortunately. Looks like he's going to be able to one-shot just about anybody in this party. Blink would be nice, but I don't think Porom or Rosa has access to it yet.
Little decent Bacchus wines in the Tomra shop with this fairly mage-heavy party. Not super integral you get them, but if you happen to need them, it's nice to know where they're at. And we get a pass.
Not an objective, but I'm not going to say no to it there. And Peasant says we're not going to say no to that Kane either, and recruits that trader right into the party.
Tybalt beelining down for this Feymark's chest, gonna grab his freebie key item and get just a Dwarf Axe. Nice for Kane. That's the only way to get a back row glitch on Kane outside of some shenaniganry with Edge and stealing a Charm Heart, but yeah, this is nice.
Yeah, even nicer news for Tybalt there. Does strike gold in the Feymarch shop there, as Sirens are indeed for sale in this seed. Either sticking it out for Rosa, didn't save, or wants to trade in that Porom for a second Rosa. And I totally looked away and did not see those Feymarch bosses. Did you see those?
I also had to look away briefly, so chat says Yang at Leviathan and Baigan at Asura. Thank you, Angela.
That's a little spicy.
Yep. No Cecil to be found to get a free fight out of that Yang, and Baigan at any spot that's fast and punchy is going to be difficult.
I mean, at the very least for Baigan, I mean, definitely a comeback later kind of boss, but there are two Palums in the party. Both of them are going to learn Quake, and the best way to deal with Baigan usually is to make sure those arms keep staying away. Usually Quake is one of the best ways to do that.
Quite true, and Peasants finding a Legend Sword from that Demus check. So that's one half of one objective found.
Yep, we also, Tybalt is taking some of those eggs here. Gonna use stop strategies here. Just get a little bit of damage in while that egg won't hatch here.
Yep, I like that. I like using stop to make sure you get some damage here, get the kill in so it doesn't wipe your party. I also really like this play. You don't have a ton of party strength. Getting some experience is going to help with that, as well as getting your Quake hits to Quake. And if you want to take an extra Siren or two while you're here, you can get all the way up to a Warp and be ready to utilize that Warp glitch in Warpcast.
Yeah, and now Tybalt is easily able to deal with more eggs, as we do see both of those Quake kids getting their signature spell here, more eggs will not be a problem.
Opts instead to go towards Sylph Cave, gonna get the Sheila 1 check online, while Peasants is descending through the Fame Arch, gonna get his Dwarf Axe, find those Sirens, and see if he decides to pop one or two of them as well.
Yeah, as free checks go, that Dwarf Axe in the chest, while great for back row on that cane, is a little, I feel a little disappointed in it, honestly, but it is what it is. We're gonna get that, as you say, we're gonna get that possible Sheila 1 check here, but yeah, as you said earlier, I would definitely think about getting those Palums to right at least around 28, so the time in... What was I saying? Oh yeah, so they would get warp in time to be able to utilize the glitch at Dwarf Castle. However, Peasant still has not checked the Moon Altar, does not know that there's a Tella there, still has that grind available as well, but they did pick up a ton of Sirens there.
Yeah, loading inventory with that amount of Sirens, I doubt, even if he sees the Tella, that he takes them, unless he's just looking for a utility mage. Tybalt finally making his way back to Fabul, had not actually cleared this out, so is going to be fighting his Pale Dim before checking with Yang's wife to be rewarded with some item of some sort, hopefully of the key variety.
As I believe Peasants did show us that check. I believe that was the Luca key.
Ah, yes. Luca key in this black set loses a considerable amount of its value as long as the seed rewards you with anybody who can cast warp.
Yeah, I don't think I've seen a seed out of anybody on this. Anytime this tournament that Tella, Rydia, or Palom have not shown up in those first boats of characters to cast that warp spell. Meanwhile, we did get a Rat Tail out of Sheila 1, which is good for the pile. No hook yet to utilize it, however.
Yeah, just a fetch quest that you can't do yet. Not necessarily something you'd like to see at this point, because you still have to hunt down that hook, and with your Magma key in hand, that hook could be literally anywhere, so who knows how long it'll be before we manage to get that check cashed in. Yep. Tybalt is gonna come to Baron Inn, get his demist and his pass, and maybe his cane here, second cane.
I mean, I'd still be happy with tossing that Edward out, so... That's rather impressive. I figured that Quake would kill an egg in one shot, but only 1650 there. Needed a little virus to finish that off there.
Yeah, it looked like a low roll combined with basically at level. You get Quake, Palom with no Wisdom Enhancing gear. We'll hit for about 1600.
Yeah, that did look like, yeah, I don't think we've seen a few pieces of gear, but that's still mostly on opening here.
Pointing out that with a Cursed Wing and Dwarf Axe in hand, that second cane is an easy pickup, because that would make Cane a potentially viable agility anchor if you decide that you're going to go something like Reflect strats, or even Hybrid strats with just a Cane with one good weapon.
Yeah, I would actually argue with two Paloms there, unless you are able to get them both to nuke. Palom is actually a league slower than Cane in the agility department, as we see Edward leave there. that just a curse ring might be a better option there, but that's assuming you're kind of going a little more all in on Berserk Canes and could use probably a few better weapons before doing that.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Peasant saving outside of Dwarf Castle after having cracked some eggs, has his party in the high 20s, low 30s. Shouldn't be too big of an issue to try and get through the Dwarf Castle bosses at this point. I'm gonna do some quick shopping here first while Tybalt picks up his Legend Sword from Rydia's mom.
Yeah, and to be fair, I mean, Dwarf is probably their best remaining check here. I mean, there's a lot of moon up there. There's Keyless Tower, and that's where the Gungnir was. It was in the Mistgrass. I remember that now. But in terms of ease of taking things down, you know, Dwarf Castle is probably their best bet in terms of, hey, we get 2 checks out of this as well. But things can turn fairly rude in terms of enemies pretty quick here.
And we got some form of Mylon here, and in this case it is Mylon Z. Shouldn't be too bad. Those Quake Kids won't be able to do much, but a couple Fire 2s and that Gungnir Spear doing extra damage to flying enemies, because Mylon Z is a flying enemy in order to give him the Quake immunity, so this shouldn't be too terribly difficult.
Yeah, even with that, he just got so many weaknesses in terms of anything fire-based, anything holy-based. It's just kind of pick how you want to kill him, honestly. He does hit a little hard in this position, however.
Yeah, these Fire 2s, though, doing, 14 to 1800 damage, depending on which Palom's casting them. This, even with a decent chunk of HP at the spot, it should not be long for this world.
Yeah, I believe 8,000 at this spot, I believe, here.
I will take your word for that. I know it's somewhere around there. I usually try and estimate. Can I do at least 9,000 damage before I die? Okay, I can do dwarf.
I mean, that's actually usually a pretty good barometer. Usually in matches where the warp glitch isn't enabled, basically, usually my barometer for it is if I have Paloms around, it's can I use Quake? And generally, I'm pretty happy about it at that point. So, right about there.
Yeah, Tybalt, hoping that the experience given by these bosses will get his Paloms to warp, at least one of his Paloms to warp, coming in about 4 or 5 levels below that level 29 mark. But Inven, our lovely restreamer for today, pointing out that worst case scenario, even if you don't get the warp glitch, you do have the Luka key if you maybe didn't want to reset out and level up some more.
How interesting that Peasants is going all in on the Reflect here, it looks like, as Kane just left in favor of Tella.
Might be thinking, well, this will be my grind. I can get these mages up to Nuke and White respectively, and just go all in and hope that I don't need physical damage for any of those moon bosses.
Yeah, yeah, even with buying all those sirens, that's almost saying, well, maybe I want to demachine this anyway here.
Also, that Tella coming with warp, so automatically going to be able to have that warp glitch online, even if had he not done the grind to get warp.
Let's get a Sand Ruby. Did either runner check the bed?
I don't think either runner's been to Kaipo.
Yeah, I don't think they have either.
And there's our Baron key from the warp glitch. So that is objective number 3. We are now either an Adamant Rock or a Twin Harp away from go mode.
Yeah, that's another point in the favor of Tybalt needing to probably try and make sure both those Paloms get a few life glitches on those Dark Imps, as it's going to be a nice size slog through through Luca Cave plus a boss there to pick up what is going to amount to be a required item.
Yeah, at this point, there's a couple of different options that we're just ahead of them. Peasants can go do a D-Machine grind, hit the Masamune altar, and hope to find one of the last 2 required key items. I'd be a big fan of going keyless tower here, try and take away a sneaky required KI or something that leads to a chain that gets you it. But yeah, Tybalt grabbing that Tella, so we'll have warp, we'll have the opportunity to D-Machine if he wants. This race is going to get very interesting very quick.
Absolutely here, and after Tybalt uses this warp spell, picks up that Baron key, I see where Peasants is going here. I was about to ask you right before I saw that here. This is your situation. Do you go to Baron, or do you decide to possibly maybe sneak into the moon here?
I don't know. I'm a big fan of doing as much on the blue planet as possible, especially if I can clear the checks efficiently before going to the moon. Just because the moon, with the way that the key items get distributed, can only have so many spots that are filled, whereas every spot in the blue planet has a chance of being a key item.
True, yeah. And it looks like Peasants just went there to open the door, and that's it.
Do your objective, get out of the way. There's nothing worse than gearing up. You know, you're in go mode. You're fully grinded. You head over to Troya to go turn in that pass. You enter the Z fight and realize, oh, I never opened up the Baron sewer.
Yeah, and I think I kind of agree with Dieshmu there. Current levels, unless you're willing to scramble a few more eggs here, I would probably lean towards either Baron or scrambling more eggs, honestly.
A little bit of quack in your life. Baron should be little to no problem, unless we run across something like a nasty wyvern. Golbez wouldn't be too bad here. It would just be time-consuming. We do know that there is a blue robe at the Blygon spot, and we have not seen either Water Hag or the Gauntlet, so that might be weighing on these runners' minds about whether or not they want to gamble on that being the Gauntlet.
Yeah, that would be a little hard to pick up, knowing that I might run into the alt Gauntlet there. That said, it's definitely a little harder to kind of pick that up. And yeah, like I said, there's a lot of options here, but a lot of options are kind of locked behind a grind at the moment.
Peasants is heading up to the moon, likely going to check the shop, maybe looking for something like hourglasses, with the sirens and hourglasses and a Tella with weak. You could always do a King Ryu grind. Isn't going to be rewarded with that, and we'll see just a second Tella here in the LST character spot.
Yeah, we've really got one more real shot at hourglasses in this seed, and that would be behind the hook.
Tybalt opting to not take the safety save. Knows that it's either Water Hag or Gauntlet, isn't scared of that. I'm always real nervous if I haven't seen Wyvern yet, that there's going to be a Wyvern hiding on the Baron throne to punish me for not taking that safety save.
Honestly, Wyvern isn't so bad. The one, and it really hit me, Threemus 1. That is the Water Hag, by the way, so all kinds of free there. Does have a cane, so actually the one I ran into was Valvolus, and she has a lot of evasion on that throne, but Kane is here to deal with that.
Yeah, Valvolus in that spot is no fun. Water Hag being here means that our dream of Alt Gauntlet at the Masamune altar is still alive, so fingers crossed.
Peasants did see that Tella on the altar, I believe. It looks to be going into the lunar subterrane here.
This play, as opposed to earlier when we had our runners come here, and I'd mentioned it, taking that trip all the way down is a bit rough. You've got exit. You're one item away from go mode. This is a gamble to see, okay, can I steal this boss, or could be trying to cheese his way through a King Ryu grind, even without. I don't think they even looted an hourglass yet, so might just be face checking that Masamune and hoping for something free.
Yeah. As the Ashmu did say, did see mute bells in Fabul, and I do believe we saw. Did we see coffins somewhere? I thought we saw coffins. I can't remember off the top of my head. Actually, could be. Now that I think about it, instead of coffins, could technically decide to try to stone a warlock grind. I do not know if they're immune to petrify or not.
I do not know either. That would be very interesting. Has walked by the earliest Warlock spot as well as the earliest King Ryu spot, so this appears to be a dive for some moon bosses, hoping for some value and some free bosses. With the little we have left on the table, hopefully can make it through something. As Tybalt gets through, that looked like that was a mom bomb at the throne. That's not bad.
Yep. But what about 4th FE?
And this is just like Borderlands. There's just so many different claptraps.
And they all want you to, and they all make you want them throw. I can't talk today. Make you want to throw them to the side.
I mean, all you have to do is just walk up some stairs. That's their only weakness.
Absolutely. Ribbon has Antlion. Antlion is no joke there.
Yeah, that was a quick reset. You've got the ability to blink, but no. 42,000 HP. No.
So we're gonna get eyes on our boss here. Meanwhile, Tybalt is gonna grab the hook. That is a very potentially spicy hook, depending on what's in that what's in those Evelyn shops, and also gives a rat tail check here.
This rat tail turns into something required. That is go mode. Peasants unlocked the Baron sewer, showed no interest in diving into it, so we'll have to see if this is value. How soon Peasants goes back for it. Oh, where's our Cecil?
Oh, no, that is a lot of money there.
Okay.
As for our altar there, that is D-Lunars here, and Peasants is going for illusions here. Might be going for lunar frogs if I had to guess here.
Yeah, I would say this isn't the rudest if you can get them to frog themselves. Tybalt, maybe reading my mind, gonna go right over to that hook route. Check the shops, maybe even check the character, see if you can get a Cecil for that crystal sword.
Oh yeah, with that crystal sword I would
likely see a Cecil.
Yeah, I would, after seeing that crystal sword and with my party right now, I would totally be all about finding a Cecil. So with a source of exit in that Tella, those were hourglasses, those were coffins. That is exactly what you want to see in that shop. Never mind, there goes the crystal sword to fund it.
Now, my advice to Tybalt here is don't even go and check the character. Leave, because if you go and check it, it's going to be a Cecil. Oh, maybe that's just my luck.
Yeah. But yeah, those hourglasses and coffins do enable warlocks. Do have Tella, so that would enable gold dragons as well.
Yep, enables quite a bit of good grind options. Tybalt has all of the experience in the world, and at his fingertips. Heading back over to Baron, maybe you're gonna check the Baron Throne, see if that's something you can handle at this level.
Looking at Odin, definitely. Meanwhile, over on Peasants' side, we do have Lunar Frogs.
All right, double Lunar Frogs, home free on this fight. Just gotta chew through the HP at this spot, and we'll be done with objective number 2.
Yeah, gonna take a second to deplete all those hit points still, but the fight is free now.
And a Dark Elf on the Basement Throne. Honestly, I'm not super familiar with the Odin Spot stats, so I'm not sure how rude this will be, but it would be less rude with a Season with the Crystals, I can tell you that.
Yeah, that's a little spicy for that 3 elemental opening there, but it's survivable, especially with the Berserk coming onto Kane here, even losing one of the Palums to Piggy status here. Shouldn't be too bad, and does have the hourglasses. If Tybalt can get to me change, the fight is won.
Yeah, you could throw out an hourglass, you could bring up that tail if you wanted to, hit it with a weak, because notably the second form of Dark Elf does not have the boss bit, and is vulnerable to a number of different status effects and spells as well they don't work on bosses, including both stop and weak.
Yeah, also I did not notice that Peasants already had those Palums up to Fire 3, or at least one of them up to Fire 3 status. That'll chew through these Lunars very quickly.
As long as you can get through them before you run out of MP, which, judging by his damage output, should be cutting it close, but I think it's definitely doable. Tybalt gets the phase change, does indeed throw out an hourglass, as you said. Dark Elf will get one last hit and then basically take no more actions for the rest of this fight as Tybalt clears it up.
So both our runners getting through some rather spicy fights here. I did see Peasants throw an Ether. May have a couple in the pocket still. Has not seen the rest of the item list yet, but is through. Does have that objective. And 61,000 experience, not to sneeze at either here.
And another tail, this time of the pink variety. So you're maybe hoping to get a cheeky adamant or torn harp out of that, but you can't complain. You have your objective down. You have a pass. You never have to come down this far into the LSD again.
The other good news is that was 8 key items there. Does need at least one more to access the crystal. Does mean as soon as the crystal pops into Peasants' inventory, and looking roughly about the same on Tybalt with that hook there, as soon as that happens, they will have 10 key items, and that's a tower key beyond that Dark Elf there. As something, if I get that on that throne there, I'm probably chasing it.
Oh, I would be making a beeline towards the towards Lower Babel. I'm already a huge fan of keyless tower plays. If I can get a tower key before I go to the moon, you know I'm going to take that down, because that's 2 checks that I'm usually fairly confident in being able to take down easily. And I'm also a huge fan of looting Lower Babel trap chests, because I tend to pull, great loot. That's confirmation bias, absolutely. But I love Lower Tower Babel.
Well, I mean, with those alerts there, you do have 40% chances at tier 7 loot there. Also, looking over to the side of Peasants, we were this close to that alt gauntlet. The alt gauntlet was hanging out in the White Spear / Plague spots.
So close. But I'll still take that if that, let's say that locks the pan, which locks our last 2 key items. I'll take that.
There you go. That is also rude. That evil wall is fairly quick in this spot, and this spot does punch pretty well.
Inven must have been grumpy when rolling the seed. This is a very rude moon, and no indications that it is required just yet, because with the highway to Threemus zone, you only need to complete 3 of the 4 objectives. So theoretically, Tybalt could pull a Twin Harp and Adamant still here on the blue planet, and not even have to touch that Masamune altar.
And we're seeing one free boss get jettisoned up to the Rubicon spot. Bahamut was our Rubicon this seed. And CPU up on the tower is not difficult, but generally annoying.
Yeah, very, very time consuming. Fortunately for Tybalt, does still have that cane, isn't completely relying on mages. You don't want to kill both of the attacker and the defender, or you're going to get hit with a very nasty Globe 199. So this will just take a little while, but doesn't really pose a threat to Tybalt's party.
Yeah, if I had a party capable of a little more physical damage, I have been known to berserk up and all in and try to just kind of break him down before Globe 199 becomes a thing. That said, yeah, bluff up those Palums, get some Quake up there.
Yeah, you could always bluff up the Palums, hit him with a couple of Quakes. Globe 199 at worst is going to take out 2 of your characters, so you can just battle of attrition it. Look like the CPU itself only has about 15,280 hit points. I may have misread the remedy amount.
Looked like what it was there. Unfortunately, it does look like Tybalt has not used a tent or other thing like that in a while. It does have 1 Ether 2 in the inventory, but one of those Palums was extremely low on MP.
And Peasants fighting the luggage check, trying to get his bags from the trip to the moon. I don't know how I feel about this boss at this spot. You have a lot of lightning magic, but it's 2 phases, so the HP does get divided, but it's obnoxious, especially that second phase with the gas and the poison. I don't know.
I mean, they're always losing my bags up on the moon all the time anyway, so... Oh, we're gonna get an explode here. Oh, he had no hit points left, so, never mind.
No, we're fine. Into phase 2, this one shouldn't be too bad, just as long as you can get lucky, get a couple of maybe lit 3s in. I think at least one of those Palums has lit 3 at this point. We do see the Quakes coming out on Tybalt's side, having bluffed up that Quake doing 7,000 damage. He is through that CPU fight. Gonna see what this tower spot has.
Oh no, that was a very quick reset out of a Masamune. Didn't even want the XP. Yeah, didn't even want the XP for it. Yeah, I could see that.
I'm disappointed that Keyless Tower let me down.
Well, Keyless Tower may have let you down, but there's still a Key Lock Tower that is showing off a Moon Sparkle, and this is either Plague or Wyvern. It's Wyvern.
Hi, Wyvern.
Hi, Wyvern.
Hi, Wyvern. That is a spot where both a Wyvern and an Ogopogo, if you're like not prepared and you haven't healed up your party, both those can be a fairly rude awakening if you're not like ready to take them out in the first hit.
Yeah, I've had some. I cannot remember. I cannot remember what was in the. Oh no, it was actually Dr. Luggage up there, and I poison walked all the way to the door, only to be greeted with Leviathan and instant killing Big Wave.
Yep. We tend to consider the Super Cannon Room 3 as runners because it has so little hit points and it does so little damage, but sometimes our groupers can fight back if you get one of those bosses that starts off with an HP-based attack.
Meanwhile, Peasants has dealt with the luggage check here, only finding a life staff in the Lost and Found, however.
Looks like he might be heading over to check Value Cave, Cave Bahamut, see if there's anything else here. He is getting some good experience from these moon fights, but he is taking quite a bit of time to get through them, whereas Tybalt is chewing through checks to no avail so far. But oh, never mind. That's go mode.
Yeah, that is that's no. Well, no, that is go mode. Yeah.
So heading right to that music now. If I was Tybalt right now, I'd be hoping, man, I hope this Twin Harp gives me Adamant, so I don't have to go to the Moss Moon Altar, because he hasn't checked it. He doesn't know that it's D-Lunars, and also you have a pass, so you can just completely bypass that walk. So
True, and I think Tybalt has like a good pile of sirens. If not, we know where they're at, so the grind is readily available. The good news is Tybalt is going to have 10 key items. Actually, I believe 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I believe has them right now, actually.
Yep. Looks like, I'm not sure when he picked up the 10th one, but he does. So we are gonna get some music here as he harps in chat. I have nothing more to say while we watch Peasants try to take down this very nasty Odin at Bahamut.
There's value in Cave Bahamut. Unfortunately, the Guardian is extremely skilled here today, because that Odin is, that Odin is going to punch for a lot, and that's before Zantetsuken.
Yeah, alright. I think it's time for me and Night to be quiet while DJ Spoonie B serenades you with the song.
One of the Zelda games I have not really played. Meanwhile, my eyes were more fixated on that refight with Odin. And you called that one as the Adamant is behind the Twin Harp. Wow, not only is that altar not required, we're gonna get a look at the Copal shop as well.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting that to actually work out that way, but I'm sure Tybalt's happy. Yeah, gonna go straight down, forge that X-Cal, probably sell the X-Cal to buy whatever's in the shop. Hopefully some apples, I imagine, for your Palums. But we'll then get the crystal and be ready to fight Z with that pass after maybe a bit more grinding.
Yeah, might have to leave a little bit of money for sirens there, but as has been the case with so many seeds, even as of late, 2 words that have defined many a seed here: Moon's haunted.
Moon is haunted. Group flags, in my opinion, with the 3 to 4 objectives, more often than not, Moon tends to be haunted. Sometimes it can pay off, but at this point, instead of the mathematical play, it feels more like a gamble nowadays.
It's an interesting gamble, and the numbers, they're still kind of with you. I mean, I've seen it happen both ways enough times to not swear it off, but you definitely know you're just gambling, especially with how rude this moon has been for peasants. Unfortunately, we do know at this point, going after some of those rude bosses, especially after dispatching that Odin fairly expertly. I did see ribbons and Zeus gauntlets in that shot, by the way. But
I saw gold apples.
Oh, did see gold apples? Yeah. Unfortunately, is drawing dead on moon bosses since we know where everything is now.
Yeah. Someone in chat pointing out that this the second objective, the Masamune altar, is actually kind of a I don't know exactly what the word would be, but it definitely baited him up here because the Baron key led to the Tower key, which led to the Harp, which led to the Adamant, and that Legend Sword was from Threemus. So you got everything you needed from that one Baron key, and Peasants already opened up the door and didn't bother to dive it. If he had dived it, he would have probably stumbled upon the chain straight to go mode without having to touch the muscle. Red herring, thank you.
So Tybalt has 2 sirens to his name right now, is going to pop both of these, and is probably, if I had to guess, maybe diving back down to the Bay March to pick up a few more, if I had to guess.
I mean, it's not the most exciting grind, but it's
It's not exciting, but it is fast. As long as you have a way to one-shot, and does have the hook, does have hourglasses. I think passed on the coffins just because money was an issue there. He's going for viruses. Quake might one-shot him. Takes a little bit longer than the spell animation, but either way, not really a threat. Question for Tybalt now is, what's your goal on this grind? Where do you want to get before going to Zeromus? I would guess with this party, not until Rosa knows white and both of those Palums no nuke.
Yeah, I wouldn't be ready for Z before that point whatsoever, because that's with this party setup, a single Kane Berserk is not going to do it, at least not in a timely manner, and you want the fast spell animation and high damage from those nukes compared to doing something like Quake or a 3rd level spell.
Yeah, I think Tybalt may have forgotten where those sirens are sold. I believe they were in Land of Summons here.
Yep. They were in the Fey March. I've done the same thing. Okay, another underground. Let me check Tomra. No. Let me check Dwarf. No. Of course they're in Fey March.
Yeah. They're where you don't want to go because, yeah, it is a little bit of a walk, but it is still the most efficient grind available now.
Yeah. We have a question from chat. What's more effective? What's faster here? D-Machine or eggs? I would say at this point eggs. D-Machine requires not only the setup, but the cutscene to get to the giant, as well as the walk to the respective room and then leaving, for about as much experience as you could do, especially if you manipulate your turn order correctly, you could be getting nearly 200,000 experience, probably a minute from eggs.
Agreed, and basically the whole thing, eggs is a little more, like you said, just kind of a little more stable, I guess if you want to call it. The big thing about D Machine is the big upside for D Machine is the propensity to slingshot a low-level character, especially your Rydias, your Forums, your characters that really want those huge amounts of XP from level 1 to immediate usefulness.
A nice slingshot on a Yang or a second Cecil, and you're feeling good.
Oh, absolutely. Had a seat just a little bit earlier, actually. You see people just like leaving their Cecils dead, and when you have a level 61 swinging a crystal sword around, that's the best feeling in the world.
So how do you like your eggs, Might do?
I am definitely sometimes over easy, but I have to say I'm much more of a scrambled person.
I'm definitely an over medium person. I like mine chopped up, mixed in with my hash browns, and like dashed with Tabasco and sauce and pepper. I'm very particular about my eggs.
Okay. I mean, that does sound pretty good, actually. Now, if you fair, like, how I really like my eggs is scrambled in the middle of a stir fry, however...
At that point, I think we're talking about a different dish, but that does sound good.
We are, yes.
I mean, I guess if you cast a weak and then hit it with a fire spell, that would be the stir and then the fry, right?
Yeah. Definitely at least Fire 1 or Fire 2. Fire 3 might overcook it, however.
Hey, definitely don't want those, like, rubbery consistency to your eggs.
No, but all the same, you really do need to eat them fairly quickly after they're cooked. Generally, eggs don't taste so good after they cool off too much.
While we have Tybalt grinding on some eggs over here, Peasants has come back to this Antlion. Has a few more levels under his belt, some more MP to pump out some Quakes. Gonna go for Blink strats, and you got 3 people that can cast Blink, and 2 people that can cast Quake. You'll get through it eventually, but it's gonna take a while, and to no avail.
Yeah, absolutely. Quake is definitely the correct answer for this fight here. And is gonna get paid in experience here, but unfortunately... just needs to chew through these lunar bosses as fast as possible. But with Tybalt most of the way through the grind, it's looking a little rough, unfortunately.
And the best thing for Peasants here would be after this Antlion, if some sort of key item pulls him back down to the earth, gives him a path to maybe go check that Baron key, or check the Baron key. That's the route you have to do. So maybe an Earth Crystal, something along those lines. He's got to make it back to Baron quickly because he's already fallen behind.
Yeah, I'd say the pan would be the best thing to drag you back down to Earth. The thing is, usually it's hard to say go to Baron. A lot of people like to, just because of the nature of going through Baron, the little bit of cutscene there, it's fairly popular, and I get it, because it's a little hard to get to sometimes, or justifying the time taken, but Baron is a check a lot of people do like to put off for a while.
And it's funny to think how the randomizer, with just a slight difference, giving us the unlock the sewer as compared to maybe liberating Baron Castle, might have swung this race slightly because it likely changed Peasants' routing.
Yeah, it is definitely all the difference, and You know, I can't fault, you know, it's, you know, Peasants has not misplayed this seed. Let's
Oh no, not
get
at
that
all.
out there.
Yeah.
It's just rando gonna rando.
Oh yeah, no, not at all. To be very clear, Peasants has played this wonderfully. He's going with the math play, decided to stick with his gamble here. You know, props to that. Just as you said, rando's gonna rando, and unfortunately, it just didn't pay off this time.
Yeah, if you tell me I'm pretty close to full clearing the moon, an hour and 12 minutes in, I'd be fairly happy about it. Moon is one of those things you do kind of commit to. That said, we've landed outside of Troy, and I am seeing all these squiggly line flags coming up here. What's up with that?
I don't know. It looks kind of like, you know, is it at 2? You know, I'm already kind of sick of this bit. Whose butt are we gonna kick tonight?
That is a very good question here. We do have, I believe we said upwards of 460 sprites here readily available on an unchanged Zeromus fight. Nothing about the Zeromus fight is changed except for how he looks. Do you have a favorite sprite, however?
I think obviously I haven't seen all of them. My favorite thus far is a tie between Temp Jobmas and Mother Miss, Mother being the final boss from Lava Lana.
Okay, I actually have not seen Mothermas here. I did get a little bit more of a favorite sprite here. One I just encountered today. We did find the Death Starmus.
Oh, that's one that I definitely haven't seen before. That's really cool. I love, like, I've gotten a few duplicates here and there, but most seeds I've played have been a completely new Z sprite every time. That's one of my favorite parts about the randomizer. And shout out to Scala and Wordface for making all those sprites up for us to keep things fresh at the end of the seed.
Meanwhile, Peasants is taking... I thought it might be 50-50 to take that Alt Gauntlet there, but you know, like I said, it's Moon is something you do commit to if you head to it there, so...
Yeah, and this Alt Gauntlet is as good as a grind in most cases. We are getting a Deamus. Okay.
I've actually never seen a Deamus, but I mean, it's one of those things you thought she would be there, and yeah, I'm definitely happy to see her. Yeah, where is Commander Leonard when we need him?
Right. Idea being from Final Fantasy VIII, I believe. It's a fantastic sprite. Scala, is this yours or is this a board face sprite? This looks like your work.
I believe it does look like Record Keeper. If people are saying that there, I am not sure where that sprite has been lifted from. I think Scala will let us know in just a little bit here. Yep, Record Keeper.
Yep. But this fight is underway. We have Kane with a Star Veil up. We've got mages throwing out nukes and whites. If you do 61,000 damage with reflected spells or just non-direct damage, you can skip the refill, you can skip the Meteo, you can skip a whole bunch of this fight, and with these Talons throwing out, 8 to 10k on each one of these, it's only going to take a handful to cast before we get the GG on Tybalt side.
Yeah, there was a nerf thrown out there, I believe, on a Silk Web. Diamus was exceptionally gracious to throw that counter nuke onto Tella exactly where it was wanted there. Does want to finish this here before the second big bang, however.
I haven't been keeping track of the damage, but I think he's only 1 or 2 nuke casts away at this point. So,
Yeah, I haven't been adding it up. I've kind of tried to keep track of both fights here, but there's a second shake. I'm pretty sure this is the third round of nukes from Hallam, and I believe has been supplemented by a pair of whites from Rosa. Edema should be falling in short order here.
with the damage rolls we've been getting, I think about 6 nukes and 2 whites should be sufficient. So there it is. There's the flash and the GGs for Tybalt, finishing with an official race spot time of 1 hour, 17 minutes, and 39 seconds. Moves to 1-0 in the Magma route, one step closer to making it into a play-in race.
Absolutely. That first win is a huge load off here in the Magma group. If just because you're still alive for that whole big 3-0 match where everybody wants to be, and I mean, let's put it this way. I mean, I know I've said it so many times here that the Magma group is full of landmines, and PeasantsOMFG is one of those. So any win you can take out of here is a great win.
Speaking of which, great win, Tybalt. GG.
GG.
So what were your thoughts when the Baron keychain led to everything you needed and you didn't have to even touch anything on the moon?
Yeah, I was quite happy about that. I wanted to find at least 10 key items before I hit the moon. I had a few sirens to do gold dragons once I hit 10 key items. Just searching for that 10th key item. I got tower key and I'm like, that's 10, but tower's a quick check. Let's go. And tower key led to Twin Harp. I'm like, ooh, go do quests. Go do quests. If I can stay away from Ogopogo, I'll do it. And then seeing Adamant at Cave Magnus, I'm like, oh, don't even have to touch moon. Let's go.
Yeah, you kind of answered my other question there, is what was keeping you from the moon when both of you called down the lunar whale there. And now I do kind of definitely agree. I like trying to wait for 10 key items before going to the moon. It doesn't always work, but I mean, like you said, that tower key is such a fast check that why not?
Mm-hmm. I already done half. I already did top of tower and got through it, and it was nothing. So it's like, okay, reset out. I'm right there at the middle section. Let's get and go. And it gave Harp, and I'm like, but the icing on the top was getting the Adamant from Cave Magnus. I'm like, bonus.
We think you got a little bit of help there. Both of us were calling a few things in that seed. And I remember one thing is, what if the Adamant just happened to be behind this? And yeah, it's but yeah, that was well done there. Yeah, you dodged because Peasants did go up to the moon. The moon was incredibly rude, by the way. The D-Lunars were actually one of the easier parts of it, and did get frogs on those, but Peasants is chewing through the last part of the Alt Gauntlet at Plague spot here. But yeah, it's just staying on the Earth was the play here.
Yeah, Ogopogo with not seeing Alt Gauntlet anywhere kind of scares me a little bit, because I've faced a few different spots of Alt Gauntlet on the moon, and
Yeah, Alt Gauntlet is definitely something you want to have found before you go to the moon. It being D-Lunars there at that Masamune altar, you can do frog strats, so like, had the moon played out a bit differently, this could have flipped the other way, but just the chain through the Baron key, you made the right calls, and you come away with the win, so GG's.
So I will say, Invent and his Edward seeds, there's 3 or 4 in this one. Couldn't get rid of them fast enough.
I would say you were extremely fast, and we thought you might actually check it. None of us did see the character in Cave Evelyn there. We thought you might fish for that Crystal Sword Cecil, but then you just sold the Crystal Sword because there were so many good items in that item shop, so...
Yeah, I'm like, oh, Hourglasses, Coffins. I knew I needed money for Sirens, And since I didn't find an early Cecil, I'm like, Crystal Sword's worth a lot.
Yeah, and as you know, as soon as you sold that crystal sword there, it did change the character in Cave Eblin to a Cecil, so you definitely didn't want to see that.
I usually pick up Cecil if I see him, but it was one of those, it was too far late for me to picking him up. I'd already committed to doing reflect strats with my kids.
Okay, we do have a note that Peasants did forfeit sometime after the Alt Gauntlet. Don't know where. Sometime maybe after this Evil Wall, possibly. This moon was incredibly rude, by the way.
Yeah, this seed had what seemed to be one easy route, and then everything else around it was just incredibly rude. And you found that easy route, so a well-deserved win.
Thanks for commentating, and thanks for restreaming and tracking. Check out the VOD, see if there's things I can see what Peasants did, maybe learn something.
Yeah, absolutely, and good luck in further matches. Congratulations on 1-0. See if you can keep it going. Good luck against everybody except me in the Magma group.
and me. I'm there too.
And both of us. There you go.
Yeah, there's a few people I'm scared of. So
We're all scared of each other. That's kind of the rule of Magma group.
Yeah.
there's some others that are more scary.
Yeah, that's true.
Have a good night.
You too.
You too. Yeah, so the forfeit there, completely understandable. On the one hand, there's no prize for second place. So definitely understand that, especially if you've thrown yourself at this really rude moon. You have no idea where you need to be going. You have no leads. A well-played seed by Peasants just didn't play out in the end. So big GGs and well done to him.
Yeah, speaking of, that is who we are joined by right now. Peasants, that was, as you just heard, yeah, that, I haven't seen that Root of Moon in a while.
Yeah, it was pretty nasty. It wasn't nice.
Yeah, you ran into probably the D-Lunars at Ogopogo was the easiest of the bosses you found up there, and that's saying something.
Yeah, it was, the D-Lunars I think was the easiest boss, which is rare to find, I suppose.
Yeah, you were pushing through it, and the one thing we kind of came up with here, at least one thing was said, was how much fortunes would have changed had objective number 3 read more complete Baron as opposed to just unlocking the sewer. I don't know if you've looked at it there, but it led to the Twin Harp, which had everything, unfortunately.
You know, I was gonna do Baron, but I remember seeing a little blue guy at the start and was positive it was gonna be Gauntlet, so I was like, no.
We were thinking that too.
Yeah, we were talking like, oh man, you know, maybe you fade it because you think it's the Alt Gauntlet.
Yeah.
Turned out it was Water Hag, and it was the right play. But yeah, it can play mind games on you just seeing who the opening boss is.
I baited myself into a terrible, terrible moon. It's okay though.
There are times when we will bait ourselves all the time, and I can't blame you. And honestly, I mean, looking through how you dealt with that moon there, with that party that you had, I mean, you played it well. It just the randomizer just did not work out for you there.
Yeah, I don't actually feel too bad about the loss. It feels more of a I got pretty unlucky towards the end there. I think I was playing pretty well.
Yeah, it was incredibly skillful play, showing off how to take out bosses many times your level, with, you know, 2 black mages and 2 white mages and a mage.
Yeah. And another.
He was here too.
Man, I was just sitting on 9 key items as well. I wanted to do the a D machine, but then I did a few sirens before. It was just a comedy of errors, I think, with the order of things.
Yeah, it's Yeah, less errors, more that, I mean, you're not going to get out of those without any resets kind of thing, especially with that party. I do kind of want to ask, you did have, you did keep a cane, correct? Or you were the one that went all casters, I believe.
I went all casters, yeah.
Yeah. What was the impetus? I know we had a Gungnir at least, and I believe Ogre Axe is available. You just decided to want to go full on reflect there.
I mean, that was the plan. I thought I was gonna hit 10k items and probably do a D machine, but then afterwards it became like here or there if I was even gonna do a D machine after I picked up the teller anyway. I was just, but basically afterwards I was like, okay, probably shouldn't have got rid of Kane, but as long as I don't run into a Valvalis, I should probably be fine. And then Moon was really nasty.
Yeah, I think she was one of the nasty bosses that we did not see, actually.
I know. I think it's the only thing, if you replaced like that Lugae with a, or I think that was the Freya's boss, probably the Lugae with a Valvalis, I just would have started crying, to be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah, did we find a, I can't remember, did we find a Golbez anywhere? Maybe that was hiding out, maybe the King Queen spot, but...
Yeah, I don't remember seeing Golbez. I know we did see, by virtue of the top of the tower, that Bahamut was at the Ruby spot, so there went another free boss out of the pool.
Yeah, I think Golbez would have been okay on the Moon as well. I mean, probably not too good, but I mean, it's still manageable.
Yeah, it's scary but manageable.
Yeah.
But you're 0-1. That's unfortunate, but you're not out of it yet. With two wins in your final 2 weeks, you can make it into that second Magma play-in race. What are your thoughts on the Magma group?
Yeah, I think Magma group is very strong. Lots of very good runners from that I'm probably going to have to verse. So that's, I guess, unfortunate, but but it's good. I think it makes for more exciting races. That there's so many good races in the second pool.
Absolutely, and thank you again. And yeah, like I said, I mean, yeah, I would actually, anybody that, yeah, you're definitely a strong opponent still, and would not take you lightly anywhere you were in this round. So
Thank
yeah,
you.
I just hope the rando falls a little bit better for you here going forward.
Me too. Also, just a quick apology. I'm on very bad internet, so I think that my stream was probably a little bit choppy. So I apologize for people watching if it looked bad.
There was a bit of chop, but it wasn't unwatchable. We all definitely understand that can happen. So yeah, GG's and best of luck in your final 2, unless they're against me.
All right, okay. Thank you very much.
Alright, and I think that wraps it up for the interviews here. It does look like the raid is starting. We are going to go check the other race that is going on right now over at Randomania. Again, a quick thank you to Invenerable Antidale, my co-commentators over a million, everybody who put this together, our runners. Follow them if you get a chance here. But otherwise, very good race here. Any last thoughts here, Zoe?
I only have one last thought, and it was a joke I thought of before the beginning of the race. Never found a place to fit it in, but I think the OMFG in Peasants' names stands for On Mars Fighting Geese. Everyone have a wonderful night.
Sounds legit.
Can confirm.